A lot has transpired over the last 11 months since I last talked to you in September for our first show, Hong Kong on Edge. Take us through what happened on Monday, because all eyes are on the national security law. It is unprecedented. Did you find your arrest different from previous times you have been taken into custody?
Yes, I think it's different, because when I was reckoned by my maid to come down from upstairs, I saw a bunch of policemen, and they said that, and I was under arrest under the national security law. So that was a shock to me, because I did not expect things happen so quickly. I thought that they would let the law, lie low profile, let the business community at peace, and the international community quiet down, since they had a very strong response to the national security law, to show the world that with the national security law, Hong Kong actually the business environment has not changed. But now they might arrest me, and I was a bit shocked, to be honest.
What do you think the message is being sent to the international business community, which is obviously very concerned? On the one hand, many business people they welcome the stability, if you want to call it that, since the implementation of the law on June 30th. Others, though, are taking a cautious wait-and-see approach. What message do you think this arrest of you, as you said, fairly soon after the implementation of the national security law, what message does that send to the international business community here?
Well, it definitely is very negative to the to the business community here and overseas. But I think they want also to send a message to the Hong Kong people who has been rebellions, in demonstrations and resistance and all that, to show that, yes, the national security law will be low profile in its execution, but they have to show the teeth of enacting it on some people, to show to the Hong Kong people that anytime we will enact it. So make sure that you behave well. Actually, the national security law had a very intimidating effect on Hong Kong people already. So I thought that they don't need to go further to show that the national security law is actually very draconian. But I think they also have the apprehension that if they don't enact at least once or twice, the people in Hong Kong will take it for granted that national security law is not going to be used, because the whole world is responding so strongly, and the business community is unraveling. So they want to keep Hong Kong as international financial center, which is very important to China. Although Hong Kong is only 3% of Chinese economy, but 65% of the direct investment in China has to be transacted and contract here because the rule of law here. And 61% of the direct investment from Hong Kong, from China to outside is also transacted here. So Hong Kong is not just an international financial center, but Hong Kong is almost a rule of law guarantee center for the transactions in China, even in the big deals they do with the international. Killing this rule of law security center. Yes.
Jimmy, Chinese officials have talked about this being a sword of Damocles, kind of a threat to make sure that, independence-minded activists stay in line. How have you changed your activities in the month and a half or so since the implementation of the law? And what does that say to the possible retrospectivity that is not supposedly allowed under the national security law, that they're not necessarily, in the letter of the law, supposed to build cases based on what you've done in the past?
Well, they said the law is not retroactive. So, they have to prove that. And to be honest, people here a lot of them are intimidated. A lot of the pro-democratic people have left or leaving, and those who stay are sidestepping from the movement. So I think they have a very effective result from the national security law of calming down this place. But it doesn't mean that people who stay, like myself, will not continue to resist. But we will have to be a lot more cautious and be more innovative, or the whole resistance movement has to be atomized. So everybody will do their every bit. I don't think the resistance movement will just be quiet down or die out. From the emotion of the city, since my arrest, I can see that people are very angry. People are very persistent in their will to keep our rule of law and freedom. So, even myself, to answer your question, is, I will have to be more cautious. I'll have to do what I have been doing, but with, more cautious attitude, because this is going to be a long fight. Radicalism is not for it. We can't just confront the regime with very strong actions or force. We have to be very flexible and improvise. So this is going to be a long fight.
Jimmy, what can you tell us about the allegations against you, and any indication when formal charges might be laid? We know that there have been 3 charges at least talked about, and that 2 that are not under the national security law, including alleged conspiracy to defraud. That's more of a local issue involving the lease of your property. But more specifically, under the national security law, you are undoubtedly the most high-profile individual to be arrested under what some have called a very vague national security law, under one of the provisions, and that is collusion with foreign forces. What can you tell us about the specifics of what case they are building against you?
I'm not allowed to talk about specifics because the legal proceeding is just starting. I don't know what kind of charges they're going to charge me. The allegation of the 3 charges, a lot of them I can only tell you, is trumped up. So, I can't go further on any more details. I can also tell you the national security law is very vague and general, so is the charges.
Can you tell me, since June 30th, in your mind, have you done anything extraordinary that might have put you at jeopardy under the national security law? Something that perhaps you would have done prior to June 30th, but you've remained cautious since then?
Well, I don't think I've done anything very critical after the July 1st. I just took, a few interviews, and I had my Twitter live stream conversation with, with foreigners, with people that I know who are from the States, and that's it.
Yep.
If freedom of speech is guaranteed, I don't think I've violated any law, because I never had any action against the regime or the CCP or even Hong Kong government.